Hi everybody, this is session number 2, the dawning of the true self, and we call that the drop in the ocean. It's kind of an addition to session number 1. There are a few topics or a few points that I didn't make in session number 1, and I wanted to expand on that a little bit. Just to recap, basically, session number 1 talked about the pain of the little self that pushes us out of our nest and onto the journey that leads us in the end to our true self. At the same time, the love that comes from our true self pulls at us, pulls it toward that like a magnetic force. And this magnetic force is really powerful, except for we have basically obliterated it with our own wish not to be there. So that's going to be a major topic in this whole series, that we are the ones that are stopping us actively from experiencing love and peace. That is probably the number one lesson from this whole series, that nothing in the outside, nothing in our genetic setup, nothing in our family, nothing in our past can stop us from achieving peace, except our own decision. And the whole series basically leads us to the point in ourselves that, or hopefully leads us to the point in ourselves where we realize that it's us that actively stops us from having peace. I mean, it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's the only way we can reach peace is by realizing we are actively going against that experience of love, of this all-encompassing love and of peace that comes from our true self to us. So we will be talking about that. And in that connection, this session now, session 2, is called The Drop in the Ocean. I wanted to just give you this analogy because it always helped me just realizing that the difference in size, just in size, and it's a beautiful image. So basically think of the ocean and think of one drop in that vast ocean that thinks it is separated now from the ocean, right? And that's us. That is us in our small self as we are at this very moment. We might not think that's the case, but if we look at some of the characteristics of how that drop experiences the world, then we have to realize, yes, it is the case. So the little drop that thinks is no longer in the ocean, the longing for this vastness, this all-encompassing vast entity of the ocean that the tiny drop of water that finds itself now in the desert experiences, is overwhelming. Right? It is something that we can't grasp. We can't even touch that emotion inside of us. That we sometimes have a little longing. We think we need something. We're lacking something. We're incomplete. That's why we set out to look for relationships. We look for money and fame and fortune and a nice house and all those things. Now, imagine the drop of water that finds itself in the ocean, and it thinks another drop can make that drop complete. Just the image alone could tell us that it's not going to happen ever. So anything that we want, that want us to make us happy, that is on the outside, is just another drop in the desert. The real help would be to start our journey back to remembering that we're back in the ocean, that we are the ocean, but we are identified with this small drop of water, separated from the rest of everything. And now we long for the ocean, but we don't know that we long for the ocean. We think we long for, a partner, enough money, a vacation, a nice job, a nice house, family, friends, and all that stuff, right? So, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just it won't give us what we really need, because the only thing that can give us what we really need is that moment when we realize we're back in the ocean. when we are the fish that was out of water for a couple of minutes. The only thing that fish can possibly want is to be back in the ocean. That's it. There's no other wish in that fish except that. And the same is with us. So the littleness that we experience right now is because we think we're completely cut off from the ocean as this drop of water. And we're trying very, very hard to complete ourselves with things that are also in the desert. But the only thing that really, truly will make us happy is our acknowledgement and the experience of being back in the ocean. That's it. Being back in this oneness of this vast entity that is our true self. That is the only thing that makes us happy. The little drop thinks, or as the analogy continues, we as the little drop think, or the first thing that comes to our mind when we kind of have that longing and we realize the longing has really nothing to do with the outside, is that there must be a better way, right? We talked about that previously. There must be a better way. If you continue on that string of thought, that thought leads us to there must be more. Right? If you have the thought there must be more to life, what you really are saying is, this little thing I call myself can't possibly be the experience that I had once. I lost it. I want it again. But how do I get it? And that is where our journey begins. Exactly there, as the drop of water in the ocean, in the desert, searching day and night for the ocean and thinking the glitter, the gold that we find, or relationships that we find will bring us that. But the relationships will not bring us the love, because the love isn't in the relationship. Two drops of water trying to unite and thinking that one gives the other the ocean is impossible, because both are two drops of water. So if we could help each other realizing that we're back to how to get back to the ocean, that would be the true help in a relationship. And how we do that we're going to get into in later sessions. But for now, this image of the drop in the water, the drop in the desert that really yearns and longs for the water. Anything we do in this world, any war we're in, any behavior that is erratic, anytime we're afraid, we're angry, we're jealous, we're guilty, we think we've failed, we think we are above everybody else, is only really that longing for the ocean. Once we have an experience, even if it's just for 1 second, 1 instant, to reconnect with that vastness of love in our true self, the drop returning to the ocean for 1 second, we're like, oh, and then we go back, right? But that 1 second is enough to remind us that that's where the journey is going. From the drop, remembering how to get back to the ocean and to wake up and realize we have never left it. Thank you.